Hello, this is Stampy Longnose, and welcome to a Call of Duty Black Ops gameplay commentary. This is a game of Domination on the map Villa, and this is a really old game. And this is from about the first week that Black Ops ever came out. It might in fact actually be in like the second day or something of me playing Call of Duty Black Ops. And I had it saved in theatre mode. This is long before I even started making videos on YouTube. And I came across this early, and I thought, you know, I might as well post this before it's completely like irrelevant. And this was at the time like such an amazing game. I mean, just that start, getting 5 kills like in a row. It's sort of when the games first come out, that moment's kind of amazing. And this was sort of the time I learnt my beginning strategy. I mean, I don't know this map very well. Well, I didn't at the time. And so this is me kind of learning. So I don't make always the best decisions in the right place. But of course, because it started off like this is at the beginning of Call of Duty Black Ops, like no one really knows what they're doing. So even though you might think, oh, you're playing against a load of noobs, low ranks, that's because everyone is. I mean, I think I've just got to the first prestige, and I then stop after this. So this is my first time, and I went straight through. So yeah, it isn't about the first week. So sorry if I don't always make the right decisions, but I do get a hell of a lot of kills anyway, and it's almost a flawless. I think I die once about halfway through, but that allows me to get my next set of kill streaks. So it all works out quite well. But I'm not going to be talking about the gameplay that much. Instead, I'm going to talk about the process that you go through in terms of making videos to YouTube, or the process I go through. So I'm sure it's kind of different for most people. And I'm going to take as an example as if I'm making a review. Or I thought I'd do a talk about making a review, because that's probably one of the more complex videos. A gameplay commentary is kind of obvious. You record yourself playing the game, you speak over it, you put it on YouTube. But doing something like a review, or even like a tips video or a top 10 video, takes a bit more effort. So hopefully you'll find this useful if you are starting to make some YouTube videos, or you do already, or you're just sort of interested in the work that goes behind these kind of videos. And I mean, I've been having one uploaded pretty much every day for about a month now, and it does take quite a considerable amount of work. So the first thing, if you want to do a review, it sounds obvious, but the first thing you're going to have to do is get hold of a copy of a game. Which does sound obvious, but it's kind of difficult. Because if you're getting a review of a game, you want to have that review out on the same day that the game comes out, or at least like 2 or 3 days after. Like anything over a week after the game comes out. Although it's not completely irrelevant, most people have decided if they want to get the game, and they've watched a load of other reviews. You preferably want to get it out on the same day, as early as possible. In some occasions even before it comes out, but there's sort of some like licensing agreements and stuff. You're not always allowed to do that, especially more recently. And so there's several ways you can get hold of a copy of a game. One, buy the game. Either whether you're going into the shop to come and pick up the game, or whether you get a digital download of the game, if it's a PSN or Xbox Live game, or off Steam or Origin or something. But the main way you're going to do is going and buying the game. But that has like already puts you at a disadvantage if you're doing that. Because if I walk into a shop and buy a game, I'm getting it the day the game comes out, even if I get it really early. And there's no way I'm getting a review out that night. Not a chance. I mean, unless the game is literally like Pong 2, which it's got 2 balls instead of 1, and like you can complete it immediately and make it, then there's no way you can do it, because the time to just complete the game, you're generally looking at around 8 hours, depending on the game. If it's got a big campaign and a big multiplayer, it could be like upwards of 30 hours. I mean, imagine trying to review a game like Skyrim, and you're trying to get the review out the same day. There's no way you're going to be able to play it enough to be able to give a fair and balanced view on the game. Plus, and you're not just playing it through normally either, you're recording as you play through, which takes a lot more time, because you've got to think about, I want to get footage of all the different menus, I want to get footage using a variety of different guns. If it's a Call of Duty game, you're constantly thinking, and you're also recording, which takes more time, because you're going to get massing up loads and loads of video files. You're going to have to be naming them, you're going to have to be kind of writing the review as you go, so that you know what you need footage of. So it's not just, you're not just sitting there playing through the game for fun. You're not going on a speed run. You're trying to look at everything, find out as much as you can about the game. And if it's like a multiplayer game, you generally want to get to quite a high rank. Because of the progression system, you might only have a few guns and a few perks and that. You might not know, oh, once I get to the top rank, does the game become unbalanced? Does it become better? So you kind of have to play a multiplayer game for even longer than a big single player game. and then also you've got to write the review, you've got to record the commentary, which can sometimes take a while. For me it does anyway, because I make a hell of a lot of mistakes and have to keep doing it. And then you're going to have to edit it all, you're going to have to render everything, you're going to have to export it all, then upload it to YouTube. And if it's about 2 gigs, I mean, depending on your connection, that would take about 2 hours for me to get 2 gigs. And yeah, it's just not going to happen. So the other way you need to get a copy of a game is to do a review copy of a game, which is basically sent by the developer, and then you get it like normally a few days early or a few weeks early. But that's very tough. I mean, luckily I've got connections to a gaming website, so I've got a few arcade games early, which does make it a lot easier. I've actually happened to get a few reviews out on the day of release, even though I've got the game like the day before, and that's like literally you're spending about like 14-16 hours straight working on it, like editing one-handed while eating, which is the other way you've got to do it. So I mean, if you're thinking about doing reviews, I'd say have a few practices reviewing old games. That might be a good idea. I mean, sort of saying, just take an old game that you really like, you know a lot about, and do a review doing it saying, is it worth buying it now? So, I mean, there's no point just doing a review of an old game because no one cares. But if you sort of say, oh, Call of Duty 2, is it worth buying the game now? Is people still playing online? People might want to watch that, and that's a good way to practice doing it. And so say, I've got my game, I've played through, I've recorded loads of it. The next stage is you're kind of going to have to write the review. And so once you've written the review, you're going to have to do the voiceover for the review. And you want to get a good mic for that. That's another big limitation. I mean, there's a lot of technical limitations in this. One, you need a capture card. You really do need to be capturing in HD. Maybe get a cheap one, like just an Easy Cap or a Pinnacle or Dazzle or something, to make sure that you know you do want to like do this seriously, whether it's gameplay commentaries or any sort of gaming related content. Buy a cheap one. You can get them for like what, like $15, £10, whatever, off eBay. I'll leave a link in the description if you want. And then have a play around with them. And don't expect lots of subscribers. Don't expect lots of people to watch the videos. Just see if you enjoy doing it. Like, I don't get many views on my videos, but I do it for fun. And I mean, I'm doing video editing at uni anyway, so it's good practice. That's why I do it. I'm happy. I'm not telling people to subscribe. I'm not going spamming in the comment sections or doing sub for sub. I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it. So there's no point going out getting a really big expensive HD PVR and then getting really annoyed because no one's watching your videos and just leaving it in the corner of the room. Get a cheap one, have a practice, see if it's something that you want to do, you do enjoy doing it, and then like carry on making it. Anyway, so once I've got all my footage recorded, I then have to convert it all, which is quite a long process. I'm on a Mac, and so the file type which I get, I can't use with my editing software. I use Final Cut Pro, which I would recommend if you're on a Mac, but it is very expensive if you want to buy it. I mean, I got it from through uni anyway, so it was kind of cheaper for me. But it is an expensive program, but it is a very good program. I mean, it's kind of an industry standard if you're using it with a Mac. I mean, it's been used to edit full film, so it is a really good software. But the file type that you get from the HD PVR, if you use its internal conversion, is an MP4. And it does kind of work in Final Cut, but you have to render a lot of the time, and sometimes it will say out of memory and that. And it actually does recommend converting it. And if you got what's it called, iMovie, you can convert the files in there, or even just do your edit in iMovie if you want sign of a more simplified version. Or I actually use Titanium Toast to convert my files, and that works really well. I convert them into a HDV file type, which is, they take up quite a lot of space, but they don't lose much of the bitrate, and they're very easy for editing. You just plonk them in, there's no render time, and then you're kind of sorted. And that also does give me a time to sort of pick the specific clips I want. So say when I did a review for Portal 2, I'd play for an entire chapter just recording it as I play. So I'd end up with a 25-minute video. And if I'm trying to edit, and I've just got a big 25-minute video, I'm not going to know entirely what's in there. I'm going to have to try and remember it, and it's just going to be a hassle. So once you've then written the review, go through all your files and pick out the specific bits you want. Just put an in point and an out point and say, right, this is the bit where I fire a portal here. This is the bit where GLaDOS is saying this. You know, and then once you got the specific areas, when you go to your edit, it will save so much time, because like doing a review is really like speed editing. It's not like doing a montage. You can't spend hours and hours getting every cut like frame perfect. You really you just got to get it done. You've got to have something, what you're talking about just needs to be relevant with what they are seeing on the screen. And then once you've done all that, you can export it and then upload it to YouTube. Make sure it's under 15 minutes long. If it's like 17 minutes, really do cut it down. People don't like watching 2-part videos. Make sure it's under 2 gigabytes in size, and you'll be fine. Anyway, that brings us towards the end of the actual gameplay, but we do have a bonus clip sent in by Crimson Azov, a friend of the channel. He's been in lots of duel commentaries and stuff, and this is him in a situations on Search and Destroy. I think there's one person left on the enemy team. There he sees him. He goes to throw the C4 at him, gets stuck at a post, and he blows himself up, and they end up losing that round because of it. If you want to send in your bonus clip, there's details in the description on how you can do that. But for me, I'm done. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you later.